the easiest one to settle because it was within my discretion. I informed the board of that. I informed the previous president. I informed you, Director.
I did not, you did not inform me of this.
I beg to differ, actually. I spoke to all board members.
You may have
including
spoken in
you.
generalities about your wishes to settle all claims, but you never informed me of any, you've never informed me of this claim. Go ahead.
Okay, we're done. Okay, well,
But you
then
paid
we
it,
have,
okay.
then we have different.
So
I did
under-
settle that.
Okay, so under what authority did you make this claim?
It is within the general manager's discretion to pay for items up to $25,000. I informed the board president of what I was going to do, and he fully supported the action.
This is a personal lawsuit that was filed against a director. You don't have the authority to settle personal lawsuits against directors. This was a personal lawsuit that was filed. It was actually a judgment that was made, a personal judgment that was made against a director. And there's nothing in the code, in the water code, and there's nothing in the administrative code that gives you the authority to pay personal judgments that are filed against members of the board. I have here, and I'll submit it for the record, I'll make sure to submit it to the board secretary. And I'm sure that you've seen this, but this is a letter from JPIA's attorneys
Correct.
who have twice rejected this claim and have very clearly indicated to us here at the Central Basin that based on their own investigation, that it was determined that Director Chacon was not acting in the course and scope of his duties as a director at the time of the accident. And in a subsequent memo, have you read these memos?
I have.
Okay, and so you were informed that he was not acting in the course and scope of his duties. You were
I was
aware of that?
informed that that was JPIA's position.
Okay,
That's
and
their
it says
position.
here that there's no evidence Director Chacon was discharging his duties as a director on both, in both opinions.
And that's where we have a dispute.
And you still paid the judgment?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
And what I would respond to that is, elected officials do not work on an 8-hour day. Elected officials respond to their electorates. I understand that Director Chacon was acting in response to a call from one of his constituents. I understand that there is a witness to that a previous director was also called. So I am comfortable that Director Chacon was acting within the scope of his duties as a director. That part, I think, is indisputable.
Well, there's actually, it's not in dispute because JPIA has conducted, again, their own investigation and has declined to declined to pay for it because there was no dispute. They conducted their own investigation and they concluded that he was not in the course and scope of his duties as a director. In fact, what happened was the accident occurred. Director Chacon never notified the board that this had occurred. It went through the whole legal process, and it wasn't until there was a personal judgment against him that he came to the board and said, oh, by the way, I was on district business. I need you to pay for this. I believe this is a gift of public funds, and we have a responsibility to further look into it. Thank you.
I got a comment. I believe our board secretary here can verify that I did report it to the former general manager, Art Aguilar, in front of our old general counsel, who is no longer here. I'm not going to say why they're no longer here, but if you need a witness, she's the witness. I mentioned it to her in front of everybody. So, Ms. Vasquez, I believe you're lying here. Anyways,
Yeah, I think
The
that
report doesn't lie.
this is,
Yeah, I know, but
we're
you
at
do.
the consent calendar. This is an item that's already
So
been
the public
paid.
wants copy
And I
of
think this
here.
is something you need to take up with the attorneys after the meeting and to get clarification of what you might.
I got a quick question here.
Well, I also
since- excuse me.
have,
Anyways,
in my.
My question
elected
is,
role
let's ask
to-
Director
excuse
Vasquez.
me.
Mr. President, if I-
Let's
In my
ask
elected
Director
role-
Vasquez if there
In my
is a key
elected
temp
role,
Okay.
in my
Can I
elected
just-
role,
can
I have the authority to question this
We-
item as an item that's
If I
on the
may.
warrant run to be paid,
If I
and
may,
that's why I
my-
pulled it
Okay.
to ask questions.
Okay.
And I also have, am in a
You're-
position
okay.
to vote against paying for this, and this is what I want to do.
Okay,
This is why I pulled this item.
I go.
Mr. President, here's my concern, is we spent a lot of time on this item. The way that it's agendized today is part of the financial report and the demands for this organization. I don't want to get into a prolonged discussion about whether or not we made the right decision or we didn't make the right decision. I'd be happy to talk to any member of this board about what transpired on this issue after the meeting.
You know, I'm glad Ms. Vasquez is very, concerned about the district's money. Let's ask her about the key
Okay.
temp lawsuit that she
We can-
claims
we
does
can-
not exist.
We can do
but
that,
yet-
we can do that at a later time.
But yet it's posted up on our website.
That too is not on the agenda, so let's move on, Mr.
Thank you,
President.
Ms. Vasquez.
I want to go back to the consent calendar, see if we can get a motion to approve the consent calendar, which is item 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, and 8.